have those two rivals that started out at the beginning, became friends, and now they've got to fight.
This is the student to mentor.
Yeah. It is a bit of an anime ending for one of these two players, but we'll see who it will be. We are doing best 3 out of 5 here in loser semis, so let's see if Dill will be able to perhaps get the win. This is Diddy Kong versus Cloud, a matchup that I believe is regarded to be even for the most part. Both characters have their amazing tools and don't really get in the way of the others so much.
It's an even matchup, but it's a volatile matchup just because both of these characters have ridiculous tools. These are fantastic characters we're looking at, and they can get away with criminal activity when it comes to what the upper echelon of characters in Smash for Wii U are able to do. However, they don't really neutralize each other. They just sort of both get away with insane properties. We already see that Dill is trying to make use of the banana to neutralize a bit of the space that Ralphie's moving around on. However, Ralphie keeping himself very nimble, making sure to be aware of the banana. And percentage is sitting a bit further into his favor. However, percentage lead is going to be fast and fleeting in this set. Diddy Kong has no troubles with breaking through Cloud's aerial pressure. And likewise, Cloud is constantly able to contest this type of air pressure.
Really smart there from Dill, recognizing that Ralphie didn't want to burn limit, so he gets that back air, both getting some extra percent and guaranteeing that he's going to be losing that limit. And amazing use of the down tilt. Cloud does not snap to ledge like most of the cast, so the fact that down tilt reaches down so low meant that Dill was able to net that stock in the grand scheme of things pretty early. You know, only at 89%, although we have seen time and time again just how early Ralphie can kill and rack up damage.
Banana Slip going right for the down air just for a little bit of damage. Ooh, but the hard read on that roll. Ralphie netting himself a nice chunk of damage, and now having only 50% on this stock, he got the opportunity to build up the limit. Let's see if Dill is able to snuff this out before Ralphie can mount a comeback.
Yep, and here we have, but 100% already on Ralphie, and he's forced to burn that limit. That limit is one of those win conditions against Diddy Kong. Both, you know, the explosive kill power it has and also the speed boost it gives him really help him out when he's trying to get past the Diddy wall. So the fact that now he doesn't even have it and he's a long ways away from getting it again, it looks like this is looking pretty grim for Ralphie. Yeah, just using that Diddy Kong down tilt. It's so safe, and it combos there into that up smash, netting him the game.
Now my question is, what kind of adaptations is Ralphie going to make as we move throughout this set? As we mentioned earlier, these players know each other so well. They also just have a very strong understanding of each other's characters. Cloud and Diddy Kong are rather popular characters played just because they're so good. So they have a very strong idea of how they're going to respond in turn to the character's tools, and they also have a great idea of what to do depending on stage. We see Smashville picked for Game 2, and I really like this pick from Ralphie.
Yeah. I like it for several reasons. One, the smaller blast zones on the side allow things like limit, cross slash, and back air to kill earlier. But also, there's that moving platform, which not only helps, you know, when you're trying to land, but also when Ralphie is on ledge, we saw just how good Dill is at keeping him there. But when that platform comes around, it gives him an extra option. He tries to, he could have put him through the blender, but instead he tries to finish him with the mix. And doesn't quite work out. Ralphie now with some stage control, evening up this percent almost. But he's going to have to burn limit to make it back. Ralphie knows. He knows the tricky stuff that Dill tries to do.
He's way too aware of the barrel shenanigans that the House Diddy Kong players are becoming more and more known for. It's a rather unorthodox option, although it certainly has its place in a match like this due to the high knockback of the rocket barrel boost. Both the thrust itself and the explosion on contact is particularly good for Cloud, because assuming that the Cloud isn't shielding it, that's a lot of knockback he's going to have to suffer, and that's going to be leading to heavy stage mispositioning. Speaking of mispositioning, some rather odd waiting around by Dill is going to be letting him get hit with that back air. And Ralphie immediately pressing his advantage onto the second stock, having built up a very quick 53%.
And that was so brilliant. We saw him once again use that limit blade beam. And at first, I thought I was questioning it, but then you see how it opened up Dill. He was then tossed into the air, and Ralphie was able to use his amazing advantage state in order to just back up 70% before he lost his first stock there, getting that read on the down smash. And Dill is forced to recover. Buffers out of the trump, though. So finally, Dill getting a little bit of an opening, but doesn't seem like it's that much.
We see both of these players just trying to feel each other out right now, utilizing their aerials so they can try and find an opening. However, both are still exhibiting that patience that they're known for. Ralphie being able to analyze situations quickly and figure out how he could press an aggressive option through his opponent's defenses. Dill, as already being seen on stream today, how well he could just force the momentum of the match into his favor at any speed that he likes.
Ooh, he goes for that limit blade beam, and that time, Dill manages to get behind him first. And speaking of that, just that defensive play, I've always felt like Ralphie, if he had grown up in another scene, might be a little bit more of an aggressive Cloud, but being in New York with so many solid defensive players, you're just forced to adapt to that really smart air dodge, getting through that banana, meaning that he is going to be able to continue living, but he loses invincibility.
It's all right. It's not all right.
Not. There it is.
Opted for the low recovery. He couldn't return to platform challenge because of that banana sitting there. Dill had all of his options covered. And Ralphie's got to sort of sit this one and just think for a moment. He's got to breathe, or else Dill's running away with all of this momentum. Because we're seeing Dill switch up his play very actively. He's going between that patient play. He's going between just pressing on top of Ralphie. And he switches on a dime. Speaking of the switch, we're seeing a character switch from Ralphie. We're seeing him switch to his Fox.
All right, yeah, this is very interesting. We have seen Ralphie's Fox before. It may not be as practiced as his Cloud, but regardless, it's definitely solid. It has some serious wins under his belt, and just, I really like it also because Dill knows Ralphie's Cloud in and out. They've played so much, they team together, but this Fox, that might throw him for a loop, especially because I think that historically, in terms of matchups, Fox does pretty well against Diddy Kong just because of his overwhelming mobility. But let's see if he actually manages to get mileage out of this Fox counter pick, or will Dill just get even more brutal edge guards on him?
I mean, the capabilities are there for Dill to just turn this completely on Ralphie's head and just make this counter pick look like an awful option. That being said, Ralphie's Fox is a bit more reserved than what we're used to seeing from the House of 3000 crew. He plays more into the grab game aspects of it than just spacing through with aerials and with up tilts. So seeing how that measures out against Dill, it might turn the tides in his favor, or at the very least, it'll halt the momentum that Dill has managed to build up.
Yeah, so I will say, oh, and the taunt.
Yo, good morning, Waff.
GM Waff.
He's looking a bit more lively now.
But, yeah, no, so it's really also fun watching this Fox, because it's one of those things where his Fox is informed by his Cloud. You can see shades of his Cloud gameplay just coming out. The way that he combos, the way that he reads air dodges, the way that he pressures, it's like a Cloud hiding in a Fox suit, and it's working out really well. I don't think Dill has a jump, and he's forced to air dodge into the ground, which just means even more percentage for Ralphie, already netting 61%. Looks like his counter pick is exactly what he needed. I think we just heard Ralphie's heartbeat there?
No, that was a sonic boom that was committed just now. I don't know what happened, but tuning ourselves back in, we've got Ralphie just further extending this lead, having a very impressive amount of percentage built onto Dill, and even as he consistently is giving up stage control to Dill, like, his pressure hasn't been waning. Dill finally able to alleviate a little bit of that pressure now, with the forward air managing to take off the stock, but that was at 150%. For Fox to be living like that, and the battle to be performing almost entirely unilaterally, Dill's going to have to figure out some sort of adjustments like Ralphie has, as Ralphie takes a very impressive Game 3 to prevent the 3-0 shutout.
Oh yeah, we are going to be having Dill's counter pick now in terms of stage, but you know, I would most likely say that FD is banned. Well, actually no, because he has to either ban FD or a Lilat, and I know that Ralphie does not like Lilat with Fox. I think that the last time we saw it in bracket, he actually lost. He got knocked out of the tournament because he up-beat into Lilat, and it was just like, what? It just didn't detect him. It just didn't see him there.
It happens.
The ship just drove right by.
Yep, the Pleiades was just like, oh no, I'm good, fam.
Yeah.
No more occupants.
Oh, so this is really smart because you have to pick stage before characters. We most likely... Oh, but he can switch characters? But no, he won't. He'll stay Diddy Kong. Okay. So... Yeah, so goes to Town and City. Interesting, actually, that he didn't want to play Fox on Town and City. I guess he really likes those platforms. He really wanted those platforms, and so without them, I guess he might just not. He might not be 100% confident in his Fox play, especially when his Cloud is just so practiced and so good on this stage.
On top of that, I feel that Ralphie's Fox, or at least the style that we're seeing it develop into, isn't well equipped for Town and City the way that we see that Dill controls this stage. We see a lot of low aerial pressure and the banana to prevent movement options on the base platform. And because of how frequently this stage transitions and how big of a deal the base platform is to Fox's control, it would have been too much movement limited, and Ralphie cannot afford that type of a situation sitting here at, you know, this match is going to determine if Ralphie's staying alive. He's going to get his run back onto Buzz.
Yeah, and right now, another thing that actually Dill has been doing really well is we saw earlier in the sets how he was able to just sort of, he was having trouble landing, you know? Like, Ralphie would get him in the air and he would be reading these air dodges and everything. But, like, already we're seeing Monkey Flip come out as a much bigger factor, and that's going to be it for Ralphie. And now, yeah, he's got quite a mountain to climb. Despite having an early lead, we've just seen how Dill is able to run things back. As soon as he gets that stage control, as soon as he puts himself in that good position, it seems almost impossible for Ralphie to turn it around on him.
Ralphie's looking like he's in dire straits right now, although he is able to bring this back, especially if he continues to land these heavy trades against Dill. With only 22% on board, Ralphie has the opportunity. He just has to seize it, and he has to make sure that he limits any option that Dill has to move in on him. Speaking of limit, with the limit cross / exhausted, that's even more time that Ralphie's going to have to commit to getting that limit back, and it's going to be crucial to maintaining that aerial pressure that we see from him, but then also having that kill option available when he needs it. And right now, it's looking like he needs it.
Oh, and the up tilt coming out from Dill. That up tilt will be able to kill. Maybe not. Oh, wow.
Actually said reacts only. The little banana hit was just enough to press Cloud low enough for limit climb hazard to not return to stage.